You're finally awake.
A Plague Tale Requiem is, like the previous entry in the series, a compellingly told narrative with likeable characters navigating a brutal world wrapped around a solid stealth and puzzle adventure game. Whilst it retains some of the flaws of the first game, it also builds well on the best aspects of the gameplay loop, while continuing the story of Amicia and Hugo de Rune in a way that raises the stakes significantly, escalates the spectacle, and will leave you lost for words by the end. The sequel to 2019's A Plague Tale Innocence, Requiem picks up 6 months later. The macula in 5-year-old Hugo's blood lies dormant, the rats and their plague are gone, and young alchemist Lucas is now apprenticed to Amicia and Hugo's mother Beatrice. The group are on their way to Provence, under the protection of Magister Vaudin from an ancient order of alchemists. However, on the way, Amicia and Hugo fall foul of a group of aggressive farmers who are fending off bandits and mistake them for more of the same, their attacks forcing Amicia to kill again to defend her family and reawakening the macula. The siblings believe that an island Hugo has seen in his dreams holds the key to a cure, but they must contend with both Beatrice and Lucas's skepticism and the enemies hunting them down. As with Innocence, the core gameplay loop here focuses on solving puzzles based around traversal. Some of these involve figuring out how to use the environment and movable objects in order to get to the next location, usually in the form of positioning something you can climb upon, perhaps after releasing it by breaking chains or opening doors. The introduction of a crossbow for Amicia can provide for more complex versions of this, using it to fire ropes that attach to posts in order to hold something in position or give you leverage to pull something off or open. They're never overly complex, but a good balance is struck where they don't feel too repetitive either. The remainder of the traversal puzzles involve enemies, rats, humans, and occasionally both. With stealth, combat, and using the rats against the humans at your disposal in varying combinations, you need to get through unscathed to the next area. As before, bare-headed human enemies can be killed with your sling, but many more will be wearing helmets now, and you no longer have a way to force them to remove it. You can kill with the crossbow, but bolts for it are far from plentiful, so killing every helmeted enemy in this way is usually unrealistic. Likewise, Greek fire can instantly kill all but the most heavily armoured enemies, but there needs to be a pot of it you can strike at the right moment, or you need to have a pot to hand to make a larger blast radius for your ammunition. There are more enemies with shields to contend with, who can pretty much only be killed from stealth or after stunning them using the environment. Ranged enemies now include both archers and lancers, but also men who throw pots of Greek fire. These latter can be killed by knocking the pot from their hands as they go to throw it. To deal with this new range of enemies, Amicia has at her disposal not only the crossbow, but also the ability to counter attacks using her sling, to distract enemies who are about to spot her by throwing stones, and to attack with single-use knives for stealth kills, or to save herself. She also isn't instantly killed by all enemy attacks, instead going into a danger state if knocked down or shot out outside of cover. This gives you a moment to counter, escape, or take cover, but a second attack while still in this state means you are dead. This can lead to frustrations with the game's combat, particularly in arena battles where you have to kill all enemies and are contained in a closed space. There's a set radius around enemy characters, within which you are automatically given a knockdown animation which either puts you in a danger state or kills you. You can counter if you have a knife, but this is rare, and the speed at which they walk, they can easily get within range despite you sprinting due to the layout of the arenas, means that you will fall within their range a lot. Especially if you stop to take aim at a ranged enemy with your sling, whose wind-up time makes it all the easier for one to put you in danger and the other to very quickly after kill you. Getting through these scripted events is more often than not an exercise in gritting your teeth and pushing through. Which is a shame because, given the expanded combat systems, these could be a lot more fun if keeping moving actually meant ranged enemies could miss, and you still had the dodge from the first game to avoid close-up enemies. Though in the latter case, the radius of their collision mesh would still need fixing. The rats operate pretty much the same as in the first game, although not much by way of tweaks was needed there anyway. Like at the end of Innocence, Hugo can control them, though that mechanic now works much better through a first-person direct steering system for the Horde. The trade-off for this power is that if you take them too far away, you're leaving Amicia and Hugo vulnerable to being spotted by closer enemies, and that you're still vulnerable to being eaten by them if you misjudge where you're going or how you're using them. In the scripted sequences where the rats are chasing you, the only thing to be aware of is that they're sometimes over-scripted. Pressing the run button milliseconds too late after the sequence starts will mean they catch up to you somewhere in the middle. Other than that though, these moments are great, high-spectacle fun. Beyond the shortfalls of the arena battles, most of the issues with the game are nitpicks rather than anything significant. There are momentary glitches such as the background being wrong for a split second as you pass through a door, or a 1 or 2 second delay after a cutscene ends before you can move your character in some areas, but these are gone as quick as they come and don't affect the gameplay. In fact, despite what are at worst a few cracks in the polish, the presentation is fantastic, especially given that Asobo Studio aren't first-party AAA developers. The environments, from the glorious blue of the open sea to the fiery darkness of the rat-infested night, look fantastic, and the character models are great and in cutscenes really convey the emotion and depth of the performances. Those performances too are truly fantastic. Every character feels like a real fleshed out person, if a larger than life one as befitting the fantastical subject matter. And especially Charlotte McBurney, who plays Amicia, and Logan Hannon, who plays Hugo, deserve huge credit for their work. The heartwarming moments will make you smile, the silliness will make you laugh, and the tragedy of the story will bring tears to your eyes. I don't want to delve into spoiler territory here, as the story is best experienced for yourself. What I will say is that, in my video on Innocence, I described it as if Enid Blyton's famous five were thrust into a world as violent and unforgiving as that of The Last of Us. The sequel is still strongly comparable to Naughty Dog's games, possibly more so, since there's a lot of gameplay that feels like The Last of Us and Uncharted, both in the similarity of its themes and the differences in how it approaches them. Here, even from the trailers, players may have inferred a parallel between the respective descents into darkness of Amicia and Ellie, both killing a great many people and losing themselves as they do. But where Ellie's story in The Last of Us Part 2 is about loss, grief and vengeance, and how far that can drive us before it becomes impossible to pull ourselves back, Amicia's arc is rooted in just how far we will go and how much we will sacrifice to hold on to hope, as well as what it costs to do the right thing. There's a lot more to explore in that, and I may well revisit that with spoilers in another video contrasting and analysing the two stories. But for the purposes of this review, I'll sum up by saying Requiem has strong themes which it delivers with the appropriate gravity, and the narrative is one that will stick with you long after the playthrough ends. Luckily, both the New Game Plus and the ability to earn extras like upgraded crossbows invite repeat playthroughs of the game. You can keep all of your skills and upgrades from prior playthroughs, but you're also locked to the game's ultimate difficulty, the highest difficulty and one not available for the first playthrough. This adds to the challenge as you explore the story once again. There's not much to unlock beyond that, unfortunately, but given the quality of the game, it does serve the replay value well. In terms of accessibility, A Plague Tale Requiem has a strong range of customization options in some areas, whilst lacking in others. It lacks for colour blindness options, closed captions, and directional arrows for subtitles, for example, but the subtitles are fully customizable for size, colour and background. Camera shake and motion blur can be turned off to combat motion sickness, and animated menu backgrounds can be rendered static. Controls are fully remappable, including adding in shortcuts for specific weapons or ammo types that don't automatically have their own shortcuts, and players can make buttons that have to be held for specific actions toggleable instead, as well as having QuickTime events executed automatically. The information displayed on the HUD is also fully customizable to allow for as much or as little information as you prefer. Players can choose the difficulty of the game between easy, normal and hard, except on New Game Plus. But even then, they have the ability to customize how often help is given, make yourself invincible to human enemies, and utilize the automatic QuickTime event options already mentioned. The number of accessibility features available is a distinct improvement on its predecessor and impressive for a studio outside the AAA space, while still leaving room for improvement. Overall, A Plague Tale Requiem is a fantastic game and a solid sequel which iterates on the gameplay of the first game, as well as drawing players further into the story world it created. There are still gameplay frustrations, particularly in the scripted and set-piece moments, but the overall experience is solid, and I highly recommend it. I want to know what you think. If you've played A Plague Tale Requiem, what was your verdict? If you haven't, will you be picking it up? Leave a comment and let me know. If you enjoyed this video, then give it a like and consider subscribing to keep up to date with all my content, like the video that just popped up, which YouTube thinks you should watch next. Check out the links in the description to join my Patreon for as little as £1 per month, or donate to my GoFundMe and get your name in the credits of my videos, like those rolling up now, who I want to thank for supporting me and my content. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.